Give me a second. I just need. PlayStation is dead to me, ladies and gentlemen. So today, something gets. Let's just rip the band-aid off. You know, I love physical media. I love owning my games. And honestly, the reason I have so many PlayStation discs is up until this very day, PlayStation was like the friendliest game console that you can go to fucking own your games, you know? This copy of Death Stranding 2, one of my favorite actual games, by the way, you can take this disc, you can turn your entire PlayStation offline, meaning that it never connects to the internet, never even pings a server. You can rip out the network chip on a fucking PlayStation, right? And you can put this disc into the PlayStation's disc tray, and it will copy all of the files. It will download the files from the CD into the hard drive without an internet connection. You actually own the game on the disc. You can give this to your friend, and your friend can put this in their PlayStation and install the game off the disc. PlayStation made a whole ad back in the day shitting down Microsoft's throat about the fucking discs. You want to know what they're doing now? No more discs after January 2028. Oh, fuck my asshole, raw, baby. Now, yeah, we just went from, I would say, one of the most friendlier companies to this. You know, listen, I shout out Nintendo Switch game key cards. These are basically the only Switch 2 game key cards I've ever bought. That and Metroid, this doesn't contain Metroid Prime 4. You know what the best part about these two key cards, they're actually the whole game. See how they have like none of that like key card font down here? If you actually own the physical media, you can fucking trade those around. PlayStation's not even fucking making physical production. So I want to read the whole thing out because it's way worse than I thought. So thank you, Shit Schumann. Okay. Senior director at Sony Entertainment. I can't even get mad at Sid because Sid is supposed to be finding a way to relay this dog shit. As consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical discs to digital, physical game production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. So, by the way, this is not like, oh, this is just like a few exclusive, like this is the Sony exclusives. Oh, don't worry. Companies like Larian that are making Baldur's Gate or maybe the new Divinity game that I'm actually interested in, oh, they'll be making, no, none of them are releasing a new fucking physical copy after 2028, okay? Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. Code in a box is what they're talking about, you know? I should have seen it with GTA 6, right? Like when they had the code in the box bullshit. I was kind of... We'll get to that in a second. This transition has no impact on games that are already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in disc format. This is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends, as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. The transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. So basically, you're not going to own your fucking game. Remember, this is the same company that literally a few days ago took away your media purchases, like hundreds of fucking movies that you bought because they lost a licensing agreement. Who the fuck is there to say that if you lose licensing agreements to something like a song from fucking an old Grand Theft Auto game, they're not just gonna delist that shit off the store completely, right? And so you never have access to a fucking game. Who's to say that an old game they'd lose the rights to distribute on their storefront? So instead of you tracking down a physical copy because it's been delisted from a digital storefront, which happens, by the way, you're just never going to have access. Now the whole fucking platform is a digital-only platform. We'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovations in how players can access games. By the way, there's nothing fucking innovative over here, okay? Basically, they said that digital media, basically dead. Overnight, it's fucking dead. January 2028, they're not going to be making any more discs. This is the same fucking company that keeps chasing the stupid live service dragon. Ultimately, we believe that live service games are content that attracts users on a global level. I'm sure live service games are great, Sony. You're just so fucking terrible at running them that currently one of your biggest live service experiences, Marathon, is pulling in like 3,500 players on Steam right fucking now. And again, I actually enjoy playing this game, but this is how fucking terribly blunt and stupid this company is. You got games like Destiny 2, where even on Steam, they have 500% player increases. People actually enjoy playing this fucking game. It is a good game. What do they do with the Destiny team? What do they do with the Bungie team? They gutted it so fucking much that imagine them trying to make Destiny 3. Imagine them even surviving till 2028, January, to even release another fucking game that isn't failing at the levels of something like Marathon right now. This is Sony's live service dragon. They are chasing shit that they are not good at chasing. They are killing physical fucking media, so your ownership is effectively gone. Mind you, after this company has already taken away hundreds of fucking movies from people that have purchased media, and those people are shit out of luck. Who's to say that shit couldn't even happen to video games, for crying out loud? You know, I was talking about GTA 6 just earlier, and let me get to that. I think I'll just wait for the Steam version, right? I know, Moody, you'll bring up the Switch 2 stuff, but here, listen to me carefully here, okay? I have not bought a PlayStation digital game in quite a long time. And there's a reason for that, okay? I really don't see the value in purchasing digital on a platform that is locked down to literally just one game store. Like, maybe if there's like a crazy sale, I might consider it. But generally speaking, I am not somebody that does not purchase digital games. I do buy digital games. I have a Steam account, for crying out loud. I have a Steam account with hundreds upon hundreds, maybe over 1,000 fucking game purchases over the course of several years. I am not somebody that is averse to playing my games in a digital fashion. I have done it in the past. You know, there was something that I was excited for, Final Fantasy VII Revelations. I think I'm more excited for this game than I am on GTA 6, personally speaking. I've been with the FF7 remake for a long time, here to see it conclude. This game is coming out in 2027, so I expect a physical disc for the PlayStation systems, but the direction Sony has gone, I may choose at this point to just purchase this final act of the game, not on a PlayStation console, but probably on Steam. It's releasing day one on Steam anyways. So if I'm going to be living in a digital world, I'm probably going to be on a platform that is a lot more friendlier, okay? PlayStations are PlayStations. PCs are systems that I will have constantly throughout life anyways. You know what I mean? Like, I will constantly be downloading video games on a newer computer. I am not going to lock myself into one hardware ecosystem with one digital storefront where the sales are controlled at one exact store. You know, it used to be that if a game was expensive on the PlayStation Store, you could have probably found a cheaper physical disc. Now you don't even have the fucking option. So if I live in this world, okay, I hate it, but I'm going to stick with the friendlier platform, because at least with Steam, they're competing against Epic Game Stores for sales. They're competing against GOG. GOG is better because at least you can purchase a digital game there and own it forever. You don't even need to connect to a fucking third-party service to constantly activate and ping for licenses anyways. And you know the best part about PC2? These games end up getting cracked and they basically become physical releases in some capacity, where at least, no matter what, even if you lose access to Steam, even if Steam goes under, if a game is actually cracked, like FF7 Revelations, after you've bought it, it's not as if playing this game becomes a lost cause. It's not as if you lose Steam, you just lose access to these game files to exist, because the openness of PC allows you, whether the company wants to or not, preserve the game in a specific state. Remember, Rockstar Games released Grand Theft Auto San Andreas a long time ago, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the PC, unfortunately, you can't really purchase it anymore. If you go to the Steam store, San Andreas is not here, okay? You can get the defective edition, you can get the broken edition, but if you have it a long time ago, if you bought the game forever ago, you actually do have access to San Andreas. So for instance, I can play the original game downloaded on my system. But because it's a PC, you can always just download the original PC version off the internet anyways. You can find the original PC version and play that. It's not as if you need Steam or whatever to get access. This is what I talk about with digital ownership. People always bring up, don't you have a Steam account? I do have a fucking Steam account. But I'm also on the PC platform, which is a lot more friendlier for game preservation and game ownership than any console basically ever will be, right? One of the reasons why I love these physical discs quite a lot is that down the road, when you got emulators like Shat PS4, where now people are actually finding ways to mod, online capabilities into it, you could take your physical copies of PlayStation 4 games like Gravity Rush 2, Bloodborne, run them in Shat PS4 and be able to, play games, right? Be able to preserve your PlayStation 4 games on the PC. So you didn't even need PlayStation hardware to be able to keep some of those bangers alive. Now, I don't know how much this is going to happen. I don't know how possible this is going to be down the road when things are so locked down to a digital ecosystem. I think, without a doubt, this is probably one of the worst things that I've ever seen Sony do. I think it's one of the worst situations that I've seen Sony actually pull off, but it is what it is, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fucking cocksuckers in the comments who go, nobody buys physical discs, Gramps. That was only you. Well, now that you're one of those people that's like approving of a world where your ownership is basically shot the fuck dead, it is what it is, man. I mean, just don't fucking complain about it like fucking 5 or 10 years later when a lot of the games that you're growing up with are being delisted from online storefronts and there really isn't any other alternative for you to get access to them, okay? It is what it is. Don't bitch in like 10 years when like a bunch of your games are delisted and they're removed from your libraries even if you've purchased them because you agreed to this universe, okay? I have no interest in PlayStation anymore. I grew up, like, I'm sure I can probably find, like, a fucking home video of me, like, getting a PlayStation 1 for my birthday and being so fucking excited. And I really did love PlayStation, like, from PS1 all the way to 2, 3, 4, 5 was kind of, like, 4 plus. But you get the idea, right? And now, whatever PlayStation releases afterwards, I don't really give a fuck about, Like, there's no reason for me to get a PlayStation anymore. Because I can't even own the fucking games. And it's not like PlayStation, it makes a lot of video games, right? Like outside of like maybe a few Japanese studios that I'm into that actually make me go horny for purchasing a PlayStation game anyways, right? Like the last release that came out, Saros, was decent, but like to be honest with you, it felt like a fucking gimped version of like Returnal, so I don't know if that's the direction Sony Studios is going in. I don't really give a fuck, okay? I might not even buy Wolverine anymore because ultimately this direction has soured me so fucking much. I don't know what to say. Grand Theft Auto 6, for instance, I had so much hype for. I don't really have the same hype for GTA 6, like, at all, okay? A lot of people have been pre-ordering this game. I haven't even fucking touched the pre-order store for PlayStation because I'm not pre-ordering a digital copy of a video game because how the fuck is it gonna run out? I don't even understand dumbasses to go and pre-order a digital fucking game. Like, bitch, is the download list gonna run out? Is the file gonna disappear? If not, are you fucking... Like, if GTA 6 isn't coming out on a physical disc, there's nothing that stops me from waiting the extra year at this point, because I have such a backlog of games anyways, that I might as well just wait for the fucking Steam version to hit, because it's not like I'm going to be playing with fucking Amaro or Kyle on PlayStation. They don't even have fucking PlayStations. I might as well just wait for the PC version, so at least the fucking game drops on Steam. I get to play it at 60 frames per second, or 144, because my PC can do that. I can play the game probably with like patch tracing and all the extra bells and whistles that I know PlayStation gamers can't even fucking experience because their system isn't powerful enough to even fucking do ray traced reflections half the time in video games. So I might as well just wait for the best version of GTA 6 anyways, which is undoubtedly the PC version, right? Because at least over there, Steam isn't going to be charging me monthly for online anyways, right? It's just crazy, man. Like this whole shit. Like I was excited to play GTA 6 this year, but it's like, who gives a fuck, man? We went from like game coming out in like what, 2025, 2026 to 2027 now, I guess, for a lot of us. For I guess the PC community, because Rockstar is going to be waiting like a year to release this shit. But it is what it is. Like we're in a digital only world now. And I guess the end of the day, enjoy your backlogs. And if you haven't jumped into the world of PC gaming, you might as well consider it, because I'll tell you something right now. PlayStation 5 might be PlayStation 5 probably might be a better value than some PCs, but don't expect PlayStation 6 or PlayStation fucking 7 or whatever the fuck to be valued or priced properly. Like, it's going to be over $1,000 because of how expensive everything has gotten. So if you're thinking about jumping into the world of gaming now or getting yourself some hardware, it might be better to invest into like a gaming computer, because you can do a lot more with it anyways. Shit, you can even use a gaming computer to do a new skill, like, I don't know, maybe make like video content, maybe learn programming, learn a bunch of other things, learn actual valuable tricks that you can't do with a fucking PlayStation. I don't know, man. I don't know. This shit is gonna give me a fucking aneurysm, dude. Fuck PlayStation. And honestly, it's like somehow you went from the most friendliest physical gaming media console to like worse than fucking Xbox and Nintendo, because at least there you do get access to physical media, even if it's like GIMP physical media. I mean, shit. At least you can trade it around. At least you have the option. Here, get used to code in the boxes. Okay, bitch, if I wanted to buy toilet paper, I go to the fucking like store, buy me some Charmin or whatever, and wipe my ass with like fucking 10-ply paper instead of whatever the fuck you give me on the PlayStation side of it. So, anyways, fuck this crap. Obviously, I don't fucking support it. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of cocksuckers online that probably are like, oh, I'm okay with that. I'll just download all my fucking games anyways. Well, then just go to the fucking PC at that point, okay? Like, we're getting to a point where gaming on a PC is as simple as gaming on a console. Like, bitch, it's going to Steam, finding your game, buying it, downloading it, hitting the big green play button, and just seeing it load up. You know, at this point, it's just it's been better. It's always been better in that department, in my opinion. You might as well just stick with it, dude. Fuck. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.